whatever you might have. We just love you to pass it on. So we welcome you. We thank you that you're here, and you're part of a series that we've been doing for several weeks, and we'll continue this series till we finish it, or at least till we think we finish it. Maybe the Lord tells us to do something different. But I want to just kind of give an overview right now because of my listeners that are viewers actually on YouTube. So you'll know some of the things that we have going on because, you may want to tune in to a complete program, or you may want to actually just go to one of the programs and download and listen to it. We have a lot of that. We've noticed because they do keep track of the numbers, and we can tell that people are listening to the program. But this is Lauren Dew with Say a Word About This, and eventually we'll get to our subject today, or at least the series title is How Sexual Deviation Perversion Started. And today, when we do finally get there, we'll be dealing with we're finally we're out of Genesis, and we're being Leviticus. And as you know, we went Genesis, Exodus, so we didn't really have much there, other than I want to just share, for some people this is a deviation, and for some people it's perversion. And being an Afro-American person, I can say this because we have these people in America and in the world who still see Afro-Americans as less than human. They still see us as their slaves. And in Exodus, like I said, we jumped over it, but there is a point that's actually mentioned in Numbers for Exodus about Moses. So I do want to share this because some people do see it as a perversion, and that is the fact that Moses married Zipporah. And Zipporah was a Canaanite woman, a woman of Cush. She was a dark-skinned woman, Cushite woman. And in Numbers, just to show you that bigotry and racism and hatred, and again, and I can say this comfortably because I am a product of so much hatred, even today. So I don't have a problem in just sharing the truth as I see it, and what I simply feel and what I know. And the joy that I have, because I know that as a man of God, as a minister of the gospel, as a teacher of the word, that the one that I follow, the doctrine of Jesus was hated. Jesus had enemies. Jesus had a few friends. So, hey, that's part of life. And if they could do it to him, they sure in the world want to do it to me, and they do. So, dear old Moses, one of the probably most prophetic persons in terms of all the work that he did, he and Paul, and putting this Bible together that we have, really went and married someone that he fell in love with, I suspect. And so you can look at the story, but the bottom line is his own sister. Here in it's in Numbers, the 12th chapter, and actually his sister and his brother. It says while they were at Hazorah, Miriam and Aaron, both of them, criticized Moses because he had married a Cushite woman. And then they went on to try to throw it off. You know how people try to deflect things, and they cuss you out, or they chew you out, or they make you feel bad, or whatever they might try to do, or they belittle you, or whatever they want to do, and then they try to deflect it to something else. And so in verse 2 they go on and say, well, has the Lord only called you, Moses? Here he was probably between, I think it's Moses, Elijah, and the Apostle Paul of earthly men. Those are my heroes in the Bible. And so, only the Lord spoken through you. But see, the Lord heard him. And this shows you, at least it showed me, how much God wants to be a part of our lives. And what does he do? God allowed Miriam to basically turn colors. And so, this whole thing of leprosy came over her, and you can read the story and see how Moses interceded for her. But the point is, racism was there, sexual uh, deviation, the deviation for him to go and have, because he had children, he had beautiful sons, and so they had sex, and so there's some people, the Aryan nation, there's still Aryan people still living, still Jewish, some not Jewish, but German people living that hate Jews and hate us, hate Afro Americans, and so this is a deviation that we kind of missed in Exodus, and if we get to Numbers, remember it, I'll bring it back up again, but I wanted to throw it in because we're doing this series, and so you got to know, hey, racism, nothing new, sexism, nothing new, bigotry, nothing new, all these bigots here in America that carry on like they do, and race. Hey, and the beauty is that we have Jesus, and so we love him. We go on and love him. Jesus said, if they hit you on one cheek, turn the other cheek. If they smack, all this. So we go on, we love him, and we keep going with our eyes headed towards Jesus. But we can say it. See, and that's what makes people angry. Some of us get so mad because we'll tell the truth, and that's what my job is. That's my assignment. I understand my assignment on the planet. I'm still here to expose, to confront, and to reveal the truth, and then to believe God to destroy the demonic hosts, not the person. That may happen, but that's not my thing. We'll leave that to God. But we want the truth to come out so people can be free. So we got through Genesis. We're kind of going backwards as we give this intro here. So you saw what happened most, and then of course the last thing there, in Genesis we dealt with was Joseph being attacked by this lustful woman who just wanted his body. So that spirit, we saw that happen, and how Joseph handled it. Poor Joseph. But guess what? They may kick you down, put you down, but you can't keep a good man down. And God had a plan, and we know that Joseph was how he kept being elevated, and he was there for such a time as was needed. And just the same for you and I. They kick us around, they talk about us, they put us down, but guess what? I believe that if we plant the right seeds and plant enough of them and believe, God is going to raise us. The right people will hear and be set free. That's all I'm concerned about, is seeing people set free, people delivered, people healed, people blessed, and coming out of the abuse of situations that they are in, and those who are the abusers. Because remember, my first book, don't say a word about this, shh, don't say a word about this, exposing and confronting sexual perversion. That book is written to the perpetrator and the victim, and the book is available. It's available on, if you want to go to it, you can get it at Amazon.com. You can get it at Barnes and Nobles. It's get a paperback, or you can get the ebook. It's there in ebook form. So that's, we got to tell the truth. We got to let it out. And so then we got through Joseph and his challenges and what happened, and then as we going back, I want to just hit on this, because each week I want people to be in liberty. We're going to have a white paper on this. May not be a book, but a white paper on the masturbation liberation, because this goes against everything that all of these ministers have been teaching for 2,000 years, so many of them, and these doctors. And I'm here to set you free, that you not feel you're sinning when you masturbate, nor do I want you to feel guilt and shame because you relieve tension in your body. And there's just more studies that are shown that either you have sex with your mate if you're married, you're healthier, that are then, if you're not, then you do the masturbation. That's, you've done it. You do it, it's done. But it's a health thing that goes on, and we're going to hear more of those stories and studies coming out when people stop being afraid of these. And I'm not afraid. I'm telling you, if I was afraid, I wouldn't be talking. I want you to tell somebody. I want you to liberate somebody. And if you don't want to tell them exactly what I've said and how I showed you the scripture, that what it said, it's very specific, what Onan was doing, and etc., then have them listen to a program and go back and listen to those programs. But people are going to be free. That's one less weight we have to carry around, one less burden because of guilt, because somebody, and we get to our kids, and guess what? The more we bring guilt and shame on them and tell them you can't do that, then they do other things, rather than coming to them in a way of love and understanding and sharing with them about their bodies. And take time, as I did, sit down with your son, sit down with your daughter, whatever children you have, and talk to them in love. And so that's what this is about: exposing, confronting, and revealing, to bring the truth out. We want to get this message out, and so I just asked you, tell your friends. Lauren Dew is out here. He is here in this day. And some folks say, well, it's not the last day. All I know is what I see in the Word, what I see in the news, what I watch in the paper. And so whatever day it is, I can tell you that if every day we keep seeing in the news one more rape, one more molestation from the church, in the church, out of the church, by our teachers, I mean, it seems as if this whole thing is escalating. And maybe I'm just more sensitive, but I know here in Colorado, the news, I mean, I'm getting kind of tired of every day there's another situation in Denver, in Aurora, in Fort Collins, in Colorado Springs, just this state. And I'm saying, my goodness, what is going on? If we have this much happening here, can you imagine what's going on around the country? And then in New York, you have a serial rapist running around, and who knows if he or she, because it could be a she, is still alive. But the point is, you've got that going on, and you can just go on and on and on, and it's like, well, these things are either escalating or they've been all happening this way, and we're just seeing it because of the ability for news to travel so quickly. Nanoseconds, microseconds. It's just, it happens and people know about it. So we get us all through that whole thing there in Genesis. And then the other thing I want to cover while I'm sharing this YouTube, because you tell your friends that Lauren Dew, Dr. Dew, Brother Dew, whatever you want to call me, but that man is talking about things that my pastor won't talk about. And if you're gay, if you're lesbian, if you're transgender, if you're heterosexual, if you are homosexual, understand that we all were born in sin and shapen in iniquity. And when Adam and Eve left the garden, everything to them and to their seeds was born physically. So, you may feel you were born whatever. And yes, that is true. It's real. And it's not a deformity. It's not a something God, because God makes no junk, as these people say to you. So no, you are a creation, and you are to glorify God with what He gives you. Some of you that are intersex, you're glorifying God. I'm finding there's all these communities of people who are glorifying God with what they have. And so let us look at that and come out of the condemnation, come out of the hate, come out of all this stuff, this polarization that is going on in our society, to pit one against the other. Hey, it's time to live together and do what he said. He told us to replenish the